When we're kids, people talk to us about the fear of God, and it often sounds like something scary, like God is a strict authority figure we should be afraid of. But in English, there's something important to understand. Fear and what the Bible means by fear are not the same thing. In English, fear usually means being scared because something might hurt you. Like when you're crossing the street, a car gets too close, and your body jumps back without thinking. That's fear, your instinct to protect yourself. But the Bible is talking about something different. There's another word in English that explains it better: awe. Awe is that mix of reverence, respect, wonder, and admiration you feel when something is so much bigger than you that it leaves you silent. So when Scripture says the fear of the Lord, it's really pointing to awe of God, not terror, but a deep awareness of His greatness. And there are places on this earth that make you feel exactly that. Last week we were standing at more than 4,400 meters above sea level, almost halfway to the height of Mount Everest. And up there you struggle to breathe, not just because of the altitude, but because of the immensity around you. The landscape feels alive, almost like a giant organism that breathes, moves, and holds everything together. And in the middle of all that greatness, you realize how small you really are. The Nevado del Ruiz, this same volcano, took the lives of more than 25,000 people 40 years ago. It buried an entire town. It became one of the most devastating natural tragedies in the history of my country. Standing there, knowing what happened, gives you this deep sense of smallness, of how fragile life really is. And yet, how life keeps finding a way to grow again. Up there, the flora and fauna are breathtaking. Frailejón is rising from the cold ground, tiny flowers that survive in conditions where almost nothing should. Endemic animals like the chivitos de páramo and so many species of hummingbirds darting through the freezing air. It's beautiful to simply enjoy what God has created, how everything, absolutely everything, gives testimony of His creativity and care. How every plant, every animal feels like a reminder that life, real life, keeps pushing forward and being surrounded by all of this. The tragedy, the beauty, the silence, the tiny signs of life. You start to understand something the Bible has been saying all along. This is what awe of God feels like. It's the moment you realize you're not in control, that you're fragile, that your life is a breath. And yet the same God who shaped volcanoes, deserts, and mountains also formed hummingbirds, flowers, and every detail that makes life possible again. And Scripture puts this feeling into words in a way I never could. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them, human beings that you care for them? There is something humbling about standing in front of creation and realizing that even its most overwhelming parts are only a small glimpse of God's power. That's when awe becomes real. But as this quiet awareness that God is far greater than we usually remember and much closer than we think. And maybe that's the point. Moments like these remind us that life is fragile, that we're not as strong or as in control as we like to think, but they also remind us that we're not alone. The same God who shaped the mountains and commands the stars is the one who walks with us in the ordinary days too. As Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still, because all begins where striving ends. Because when you stand in front of creation and let yourself feel small, you make space to see how big God truly is and how near He has always been.